Double Take Diaries. What's going on with you? What's going on with you? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Double Take Diaries. You already know who it is. It's Sins. Yeah. And I'm so honored, feeling blessed, just happy to be back here with y'all on the couch. I wanted to quickly hop on here and kind of talk about Playboi Carti's newest release. Ironically, it's titled "I Am Music." The album features 32 tracks. I'm gonna pull up the track list right here. And shout out to Playboi Carti, who is from Georgia, who's been doing this thing for a number of years now, and he has a massive following. I mean, I know they were debating whether or not they considered him to be like a superstar, like Beyonce type superstar, Taylor Swift type. Well, I guess no one's like Taylor Swift, but like on that kind of spectrum of being a superstar, like The Weeknd and them type folk. I personally think I wouldn't consider him to be like a mainstream superstar, but I think like he definitely has like this cult following, this massive cult following of millions of people that rock with what he does. So man, shout out to Playboi Carti for releasing his project. I mean, it takes artists, it takes a lot out of an artist to go into the studio and release an album. So I can appreciate, him going in and making this body of work. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This album has been long awaited, okay? This is Playboi Carti's third studio album, okay? After jumping into most of the album, I could tell that he instantly was thinking about festival season. He was thinking about, you know what I mean? He's a big touring act, and he was thinking about the way shit was gonna sound on stage at these festivals. And that's what I think the bulk of what he's doing on here is. There's some standout records to me. Like I thought Crush was pretty cool. Although he only rapped for I think 20 seconds on the song. Me personally, I have higher expectations for rappers. Obviously, Playboi Carti's not known for being a lyricist. Like he's more so a vibe type nigga. So I can recognize that I can't expect to get bars or no type of lyrical miracle shit from Playboi. But Crush was cool. Beat was dope. He had Travis Scott on a few different records. And the thing with Travis Scott is, no matter where Travis Scott is, you're always going to get that Travis Scott vibe. You're always going to get that Travis Scott energy. So, it's always going to be dope when you hear Travis Scott. And Travis Scott and Playboi Carti, you're going to get some kind of anthem. It would be nice. It would be nice to hear what an evolved version of Travis Scott would sound like. I always have this thought, like, we're artists who don't evolve and just kind of stay in that same bag and don't evolve what it is they do. Not to say they got to change what they do. Not to say they got to change what they do, but just being able to evolve it as they evolve over time. Man, Metro Boomin produced Radar. Radar is a banger. That beat, and that's the thing, like the production is crazy. You know what I mean? The production is crazy, but I feel like a lot of it was wasted. A lot of tracks on this album are ass. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, they're ass. Like, there's no real, flow to them. I do like the fact that Playboi Carti, there's a lot of different cool things he does vocally. Which I think is cool. I think the fact that he has this album called I Am Music, and the majority of the records are like he's ad-libbing rather than rapping, I think is it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, especially when you name the album I Am Music. I just expect the artist to give a little bit more. This album to me, in terms of songwriting, it just didn't seem well thought out. It seemed like a lot of like nights off the lean, like a lot of nights off the drink, a lot of wild nights, a lot of nights he probably couldn't fucking remember. A lot of the records feel like someone who stumbled into the studio and kind of just said whatever the fuck came out their mouth. Yeah, some of it, a lot of it, I'm not fucking with. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not gonna cap. I'm not gonna front. A lot of it, I'm not fucking with. But he has some massive features on here. He has Pluto featured on here. He has The Weeknd featured on here. He has Big Kenny, Big Kung Fu Kenny, Kendrick Lamar featured on here. The few records that I heard Kendrick Lamar on, again, Kendrick didn't say much. I know Kendrick's having a moment right now, so business-wise, it just made sense to get him on. You know what I mean? Any amount of records you could, that just made good sense to me. But good credit. On good credit, Kenny gives us some bars. And the crazy thing is after listening to Playboi Carti's verse on Good Credit, which was one of the better verses on his album. It was one of the better verses that he did. But hearing Kenny come in after that was like I said, I'm gonna say it again, I don't expect Playboi Carti to be spitting like that. That's not his bag. That's not what he does. He's a vibe king. That's where he exists. You feel me? He likes to get the people hype. You know what I mean? But Kung Fu Kenny coming in after is like, is that refreshingness, you know what I mean? Like that breath of fresh air, like, damn, okay, there Kenny is showing up and you know, in form on Playboi Carti's album. Because people were like, listen, I was talking to my audience last night and we was teasing the fact that Carti and Kendrick had a song coming out. You know what I mean? We didn't know he was on 3. I wouldn't really consider the other 2 songs like featuring Kenny. That's like Kendrick's just really like, he just some ad libs, to be honest with you. But Kenny's verse on Good Credit, he says, kids on my body and that's on my kids. I kid with no body. Huh? He says, you know what this is? The vamps and the boogies. We jug through the party. What you listening to is that homicide. Patek is flooded, but way over budget. I lose it on tour, huh? I would have said, fuck you too, but you know that the list was full, ha ha ha. You know, so he just, people are saying this is the verse where he's kind of circling back to punch Drake right in his chin all over again. I really don't see it. I really don't see this being directly, directed at Drake per se. I feel like there's a lot of people hating on Kendrick for the moment that he's having. Kanye West, you know what I mean? Kanye West tweeted out the fact that he didn't want to he's like Kendrick's a good rapper, but I don't need to hear Kendrick on a Carti album. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? We knew Kanye he had some hate for Kendrick Lamar. I personally think that it's not hate, it's the highest admiration, but it's more so like jealousy and envy, right? For the gifts that Kendrick bestows. You know what I mean? And again, this is coming from Kanye West, who is now in his 40s, extremely successful, and age has nothing to do with it, but just painting the picture of someone who came into the game, as a polo-wearing backpack rapper and shot off to superstardom, but was cold with his pen. And I think his last few projects have been so far removed from who Kanye was, like Through the Wire Kanye, that he just sounds like a bitter ass nigga. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But Good Credit, I overall thought it was a dope record. I think Carti came hard. He did his thing. And Kendrick is Kendrick. Like, you know what I mean? He has Future on a few records, on Toxic. You know what I mean? He has Ty Dolla $ign on the album. We Need All the Vibes. Again, Ty Dolla $ign's one of those artists who's solidified. He has a very unique sound. When you hear Ty, you know it's him. He's an impeccable songwriter. So yeah, it's one of those vibes for the vibes. Overall, like, whew, sorry, I said 32 songs. There's 30 songs on the album, running about 76 minutes. Kendrick is on 3 of those records: Mojo, Jojo, Backdoor, and Good Credit. So again, Mojo, Jojo, and Backdoor, Kendrick really didn't say much. I really wouldn't call that featuring Kendrick, because he really didn't do nothing. But he just popped out on a couple ad libs, and that was it. That was it. I mean, again, there was no actual concept. To me, it's like when you name your album "I Am Music," like I know what Playboy Carti's trying to stand on. You know what I mean? And like I said, he has a massive following, but I would say you're a small part of what the totality of music is. And the album doesn't really boast anything musical on it. So to me, it didn't make sense, really, other than boosting his ego. The record, really, there was no substance. There was a lot of substance abuse, though. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It's interesting to know that Kendrick writes a record called "Watch the Party Die," and then gets on an album with this artist who really is just trying to extend the party for as long as he motherfucking can. I love Playboi Carti's energy. Like, there's records that I think a lot of his earlier stuff was really dope. I think a lot of his features are dope. I feel like he always murders his features. But I think this project's definitely going to be based off of Age Demo, and this is where you're going to see a divide. He has a demo that will eat this shit up. You know what I mean? And then there are people who have a more sophisticated ear for music that, this is just going to sound like ear vomit. I think it was unnecessary to have 30 songs. It was overkill. And hearing him say the same thing on every song, the same fucking thing, and not even in like a more creative or innovative way. Like, it's just the same shit over and over and over again. It really didn't move me much. I don't think this album will be nominated for a Grammy or anything. I think he will stay booked and busy in terms of hitting the road, because that's Playboi Carti's bag. Like, he is a touring act, and that's what a bag is. So, I mean, you cannot argue the fact that Playboi Carti makes a lot of money, but money doesn't make you a good rapper or a good artist. And I think he definitely missed the mark with this album. Again, I Am Music, that thing speaking to his ego. Again, not listing any features in the track list. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know how you guys feel, because I feel like a lot of people, they want to go to the features that they want to hear, right? But without, like, unless you online and reading up on the shit, like, you have no idea what song features who. But I think that's also a way for artists to get you to be like, nah, sit down and listen to the whole shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not listen to the entire album. I did not. I did listen to a good chunk. I got up to Opium Baby. 7 tracks left. Yeah, I just wasn't moved by this. I mean, someone is, though. He has 50.6 million monthly listeners. Of course, he featured on one of the Weeknd's records off his phenomenal album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, a record called Timeless, where, again, Playboi Carti, his features always slap. They're always nasty. But yeah, I don't think this album cannot contend with Chromakopia, GNX, Peterson, like, the other major rap albums that have come out this year. I think people will forget this fairly quickly. Kendrick's having this moment where when people attach themselves to him, it extends the lifespan of whatever it is they're doing with him. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going to carry this, aside from him just hitting the road. Overall, if you're a Carti fan, I think you probably will like a few songs on this, but I don't think you'll fuck with a lot of this shit. If you're not a Carti fan, you're not going to listen to this. You'll probably go see what all the hype is about, probably get to track 4 or 5, and then say fuck it. Either way, regardless of what, salute to Carti. Big salute to Playboi Carti for dropping his 3rd studio album. Super successful young nigga out here getting it, and that's what I love to see. I love to see the young niggas getting it. I love to see my niggas getting it no matter what, even if I don't fuck with your music or like the music that I'm listening to. And with that being said, man, that's my little quick review on Playboi Carti's 3rd studio album, I Am Music. You already know who it is. It's Sins. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Double Take Diaries. And we, oh,